1805, New York Public School Society is formed by wealthy businessmen to provide education for poor children. Schools are run on the Lancasterian model, in which one master can teach hundreds of students in a single room. The master gives a rote lesson to the older students, who then pass it down to the younger students. These schools emphasize discipline and obedience qualities that factory owners want to the workers.
Right, and in Massachusetts, where I'm from, the Commissioner of Education got a second salary from an organization of factory owners for the first 100 years of that position, so that the factory owners could always ensure that the Commissioner of Education did what they wanted.
1817, the Connecticut Asylum for the Education and Instruction of Deaf and Dumb Persons opens in Hartford for white students with a charter from the CT General Assembly. Later renamed the American School for the Deaf, it becomes one of the centers of deaf culture and language in the U.S. Black students are not admitted until after 1865.
And this school opened because there was a family that was determined that their daughter was going to have a full and rich life, and the instructor they brought over to teach her that eventually founded the school is one of the originators of American Sign Language. So there were indigenous sign languages around the country, but because they were able to create a center and put some education behind it, American Sign Language grew out of that.
1833, Prudence Crandall opens boarding school for African American girls in Cattenbury, Connecticut. White animosity against this school results in Connecticut Black Code and the eventual closure of the school due to multiple physical attacks.
1820 to 1860, the percentage of people working in agriculture plummets as family farms are gobbled up by larger agricultural businesses, and people are forced to look for work in towns and cities. At the same time, cities grow tremendously, fueled by new manufacturing industries, the influx of people from rural areas, and many immigrants from Europe. During the 10 years from 1846 to 1856, 3.1 million immigrants arrived, a number equal to 1/8 of the entire U.S. population. Owners of industry needed a docile, obedient workforce and looked to public schools to provide it.
The 1830s. By this time, most southern states have laws forbidding teaching people in slavery to read. Even so, around 5% become literate at great personal risk.
Right, and almost every icon that was created for people who were enslaved rebelling had a weapon in one hand and a book in the other, because that's what it was about. It was about claiming the freedom and getting the education. And that's been lost in the story we tell, particularly our African American students, about their relationship to education.
1840s, over 1 million Irish immigrants arrive in the United States, driven out of their homes in Ireland by the potato famine. Irish Catholics in northern cities struggle for local neighborhood-controlled schools as a way of preventing their children from being force-fed a Protestant curriculum.
1848, Massachusetts Reform School at Westboro opens, where children who have refused to attend public schools are sent. This begins a long tradition of reform schools, which combine the education and juvenile justice systems.
And justice should be in quotes there.
1864. Congress makes it illegal for Native Americans to be taught in their native languages. Native children as young as 4 years old are taken from their parents and sent to Bureau of Indian Affairs off-reservation boarding schools, whose goal, as one BIA official put it, is to kill the Indians to save the men.
June 19, 1865, the day the last enslaved African Americans learned of their legal right to freedom, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed into law.
1865 to 1877, African Americans mobilized to bring public education to their communities. After the Civil War and with the legal end of slavery, African Americans in the South make alliances with white Republicans to push for many political changes, including for the first time rewriting state constitutions to guarantee free public education. In practice, white children benefit more than black children.
So remember this moment when we get to the 1940s.
1877 to 1900. Reconstruction ends in 1877 when federal troops, which had occupied the South since the end of the Civil War, are withdrawn. Whites regained political control of the South and laid the foundations of legal segregation.
Right, this is the beginning of Jim Crow.
1882 to 1943, President Arthur signs the Chinese Exclusion Act. prohibiting the immigration of Chinese people into the U.S. for fear of, quote unquote, endanger the good order of certain localities. Later, versions of this act severely restrict immigration, deny Chinese women the right to immigrate, and result in the deportation of thousands of people.
1893 to 1913, size of school boards in the country's 28 biggest cities is cut in half. Most local district-based positions are eliminated in favor of citywide elections. This means that local immigrant communities lose control of their local schools. Makeup of school boards changes from small local businessmen and some wage earners to professionals like doctors and lawyers, big businessmen and other members of the richest class.
Right, this was also about getting the unions out of the schools.
1896, Plessy versus Ferguson decision. The U.S. Supreme Court rules that the state of Louisiana has the right to require separate but equal railroad cars for blacks and whites. This decision means that the federal government officially recognizes segregation as legal. One result is that southern states pass laws requiring racial segregation in public schools.
1898, the U.S. ends the Spanish-American War and signs the Treaty of Paris with Spain. As part of the treaty, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines come under U.S. military control. Public school systems are begun in Puerto Rico as part of the U.S. control. Puerto Ricans do not gain citizenship until 1917.